Love Thanksgiving, but hate the pain and fatigue afterwards? Today, I'll show you exactly what holiday foods may flare your joints and wreck your metabolism, and some simple swaps so you can enjoy the feast without the fallout. Hello, this is Dr. Tambar from Chicago Arthritis and Regenerative Medicine. I specialize in non-surgical treatments for musculoskeletal conditions, rheumatology, regenerative medicine, and metabolic health. My goal is to help you live pain-free and optimize your health with cutting-edge, low-risk strategies. Thanksgiving is all about joy, family, and great food. It can also be a perfect storm for inflammation in the joints, gout flares, and blood sugar spikes that leave you wiped out all weekend. Today, I'll break down common Thanksgiving foods, turkey, stuffing, desserts, alcohol, and how they affect inflammation, uric acid levels, and insulin resistance. I'll give you a plate building plan, easy, good, better, and best swaps, and a flare rescue checklist. You'll leave with a simple, realistic strategy that you can use this year. Let's talk about the big picture, why holiday foods hit hard. Most joint and metabolic symptoms on holidays come from three levers. Inflammation, your immune system gets louder and more active, which can then lead to swollen joints, stiffness, and fatigue. Uric acid, when high, can crystallize in the joints and trigger gout. And then there's insulin, the hormone that manages blood sugar. Big spikes can lead to crashes, cravings, and long-term weight gain. Thanksgiving has the potential to push on all three of these at once. Rich meats and gravies can raise your uric acid level. Refined carbs and sugary desserts can spike your insulin, and alcohol pours gasoline on both of these. Add in poor sleep, the usual sort of holiday stress associated with friends and family, and less movement, and your body may be saying to you, no thank you. So I tell my patients, holidays themselves are not bad, they're concentrated choices. If you understand the levers, you can enjoy the day and still feel good tomorrow. Let's talk about food by food, what helps, what hurts, and some easy swaps. To begin with, let's talk about some of the meats, turkey, ham, and red meat. Purines. When you have a high level of purines, which is a type of protein in the blood, it can lead to higher levels of uric acid. So turkey, especially dark meat and skin, contains a higher level of purines that can raise your uric acid level. Ham, it adds sodium, and sometimes, if there's a sugar glaze on it, can also worsen your blood pressure and insulin. And then there's red meat and steak at Thanksgiving as well. Higher purines, again, lead to higher gout risk as well. So what can you do? A good choice is you can choose light turkey. You can remove the skin. Better option is you can add a large serving of non-starchy vegetables with it. Veggies dilute the purine load, and fiber blunts the blood sugar spike. Best, especially if you're gout prone, you should consider this. Prioritize fish like salmon if available. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. Or smaller portions of light turkey with extra veggies and olive oil. As a clinical note, if you've had prior gout flares, keep dark meat small or skip it. Make sure to hydrate well and avoid the typical second meat helping that people may typically have during Thanksgiving, especially until you've added vegetables and water for hydration. Next, let's talk about gravy, the skin on turkey, and sauce as well. Gravy can concentrate purine levels. It's saturated fat and salt. This can trigger gout, and it can also lead to water retention. What are some solutions? Good solution is take one ladle, not three. Better solution is mix half gravy with low sodium broth at the table for flavor without necessarily the surge. An even better option or best option may be to be using an olive oil, pan sauce, or a mushroom gravy that's savory, lighter, and still flavorful. Next, let's talk about stuffing, rolls, and mashed potatoes. the essentials sides during a Thanksgiving meal. White bread stuffing, buttery rolls, and mashed potatoes are fast carbs, which leads to insulin spikes, and then a crash, and then cravings as well. Butter plus cream adds calories without nutrition. So what can you do? Well, a good option is take half a portion of stuffing instead of a full portion and add a small portion of butter rather than letting it all soak in and extra portions of that. Better option would be sourdough or whole grain stuffing with onions, celery, and herbs, mushrooms, and swap half the bread with cauliflower rice or wild rice for fiber. An even better option, a best option, would be using mashed cauliflower or half and half mashed potato and cauliflower, adding olive oil instead of heavy cream. And here's a trick. Eat your protein, then your veggies first, then carbs. This order can flatten the typical glucose spike that you see with heavy carbs. Next up are sweet potato casserole and cranberry sauce. Sweet potatoes alone are nutrient-dense and fiber-rich. When you start to add other things, marshmallows, brown sugar, you get a dessert that's disguised as a side. Cranberry sauce, the canned version, can be mostly sugar, unfortunately. So what should you do? A good option is take a smaller portion, smaller scoop, and leave off some of the sugary marshmallow crust. Better option would be roasted sweet potatoes with cinnamon and a drizzle of olive oil or pecans. And the best option, a whole berry cranberry sauce made with less sugar or monk fruit and add orange zest for flavor as well. Let's talk about vegetables now. This is your built-in anti-inflammatory protection. Brussels sprouts, green beans, kale, broccoli, carrots, these deliver polyphenols and fiber that calm inflammation and stabilize your blood sugar. Olive oil and herbs like rosemary and thyme boost anti-inflammatory effects. So what should you do? Fill half your plate with non-starchy vegetables. This one choice will reduce nearly every risk that we've discussed so far. And who can forget about pies, cakes, and cookies? All of these, of course, lead to sugar spikes, insulin spikes, and that eventually drives systemic inflammation as well. Pie crusts in particular add refined flour and shortening. Dairy toppings like whipped cream and ice cream can add extra calories. So what should you do? Well, a good option is do one dessert, don't do a tasting flight, and eat it after you've already consumed your protein and veggies. Better option, choose pumpkin pie over pecan pie. That's usually less in sugar and fat. Go thin crust and add cinnamon for flavor without sugar. Best option, share a slice, portion control. Enjoy your berries plus whipped coconut cream at home for a second treat without a second insulin surge. Here's a physician tip. If you struggle with prediabetes, pair your dessert with a 15-minute post-meal walk to lower the eventual glucose spike. How about alcohol, wine, beer, and spirits? This can lead to higher levels of uric acid, higher insulin levels, and even dehydration. Alcohol raises uric acid and dehydrates. Both can trigger gout. Beer adds purines. Sweet cocktails add sugar. So what should you do? Try to stick with one, at most 2 drinks. If you're doing this with family and it's not a frequent, daily kind of occurrence, it's probably okay. Better option is choose dry wine or spirits with soda water plus citrus rather than sugar-laden mixed drinks. Best option, in particular, if you're gout prone or you seem to find that you get very inflamed, depending on the kind of food you're consuming, including alcohol, just skip the alcohol on the holiday. Enjoy sparkling water, maybe with some lime and cranberry. If you do drink, match each alcoholic drink with a full glass of water and try to avoid beer, which has a tendency to spike gout as well. So let's build your Thanksgiving plate. Here's my simple plate rule that respects your joints and metabolism. Half your plate, non-starchy vegetables. That should include Brussels sprouts, green beans, roasted carrots, salad with olive oil. Quarter plate, protein. Try to make that more light turkey, salmon if offered, modest gravy if you choose it. Another quarter plate, smart carbs, roasted sweet potatoes, wild rice, pilaf, or smaller servings of stuffing. And healthy fats. Olive oil drizzle, nuts, avocado, where it fits. When it comes to dessert, choose one, small, after the meal, enjoy it without guilt, and then take a walk. In terms of order of eating, protein and veggies first, then your carbs, and then your dessert. And of course, pace yourself. This is not a competition to see how much you can eat. Slow bites, talk between bites, enjoy yourself. Make sure you hydrate with water. Start the meal with a full glass of water as well. Let's talk about some special playbooks for gout patients, autoimmune arthritis, and weight and metabolic health as well. If you are someone who has gout and flares very easily with food, here are the big 3 things to reduce or even avoid. Beer, dark meat, organ meats, if they show up. And if you have any anchovy-style sides. These sorts of things tend to flare up gout really classically. On the other hand, load up on veggies, water, and limit your gravy exposure. Magnesium-rich foods, greens and nuts, can support metabolic balance. And optionally, discuss with your doctor whether tart cherry products may help some gout patients as well. A rescue plan: if your gout starts to flare up, make sure you're hydrating plenty. Take 2 large glasses of water within an hour. If you start to notice maybe some gout symptoms developing, gentle movement and elevate if you're swollen, and follow your prescribed medications. For example, if your physician has given you a plan like utilizing colchicine at the start of your gout flare, make sure you have that on hand. And of course, if you are starting to flare up, keep alcohol out of the mix for the next few days as well. On the other hand, if you have inflammatory arthritis conditions like rheumatoid arthritis or psoriatic arthritis, let's talk about how you should try to aim for a low inflammatory pattern. And to me, that includes veggies, lean proteins, olive oil, and herbs. Limit high sugar foods and seed oil fried appetizers. In addition, try to keep your sleep and stress in mind. Late nights and arguments can amplify pain signaling. Continue your regular medications. Do not skip your autoimmune medications because of the holidays or because of travel. Very important. And as always, a nice, low-impact, gentle 15-minute walk after a meal can also help with stiffness that can develop in autoimmune inflammatory arthritis if you've been sitting for a while during your meal. For those patients with metabolic issues in terms of a little bit overweight, prediabetes, or fatty liver, here's what you should be focusing on. Front load protein plus veggies to reduce your total calories naturally. And choose one when it comes to your carbs. Stuffing or a roll, don't do both. As a dessert strategy, consider sharing it and add in maybe a coffee or tea so it slows down how fast you're eating as well. And afterwards, movement is important. A brisk walk within 60 minutes after eating can help to lower your blood sugar spike as well. Let's discuss some myths around the holiday table. Myth number 1, it's only one day. How can it matter? Fact is that one day will not ruin your health, but it can trigger 48 to 72 hours of joint stiffness, gout flares, and fatigue. Make smart choices. You can still enjoy yourself and feel good as well. Myth number 2, all fat is bad. That's not true. Fact is that olive oil, nuts, and avocado are joint friendly. The problem is excess saturated fat with sugar. Myth number 3, gluten is the only issue. That's not true. The fact is that even gluten-free desserts can spike your blood sugar. You want to focus on sugar and refined carbs first, then your personal triggers. Myth number 4, skipping breakfast will save me for the feast. I've heard or seen that one classically. People would sort of avoid breakfast entirely, maybe minimal or no lunch, and try to really pack it in during dinner. Fact is that arriving starving to your Thanksgiving meal is more likely to make you overeat. It's better if you have a protein-rich snack, maybe Greek yogurt, a small omelet, or nuts in the late morning so that you're not starving and trying to eat everything at the table once your meal begins. So here's the simple holiday game plan. Pre-game, hydrate, eat a protein plus veggie snack, 1 to 2 hours before your dinner. That way you're not coming in too hot and too hungry. During your actual plate, during Thanksgiving dinner, have veggies, quarter plate protein, quarter plate smart carbs. Pace yourself, put the fork down between bites, talk, enjoy yourself. Again, this is not a race to consume as much as you possibly can during this one meal. And then if you do need to do dessert, pick one treat, your absolute favorite dessert, make it small, enjoy it, be intentional about it. Again, you don't need to eat everything. Afterwards, take a nice walk. 15 minutes after the meal, gentle, low impact activity, good for the joints, good for your metabolic health, can be social, and it can be effective for your health as well. Some optional thoughts, obviously talk to your clinician as well. Omega-3 and curcumin, using that long term for baseline inflammation. Magnesium at nighttime for sleep and relaxation. Vitamin D if you're deficient. And if you use a continuous glucose monitor, glance after dessert and take a walk as well. Some more frequently asked questions, a lightning round of questions here. Question 1, can I drink red wine for heart health? Answer, if you drink, keep it moderate. Many benefits come from the Mediterranean diet pattern, not necessarily alcohol itself. Next question, is keto the best holiday plan? Extreme plans are frequently hard during the holidays. Generally speaking, a balanced plate with smart swaps is more sustainable, and that's what I would recommend. Next question, do I need to bring my own food? It's a bit extreme, but cannot hurt to bring a big veggie dish, which guarantees that you will have a joint-friendly anchor to your meal. And what if you overdo it? Make sure to hydrate, walk, probably get to bed a little bit earlier, minimize kind of alcohol the rest of the evening, try to do a veggie-heavy breakfast the next day, get back to your routine. One meal does not define you. You can always turn it around the next day. To sum it up, Thanksgiving should leave you grateful, not flared up. When you understand how certain foods affect inflammation, your uric acid level, and insulin spikes, you can choose wisely without feeling deprived. Build a smarter plate, enjoy your favorite treat, take a walk, and protect your joints and metabolism. If you found this helpful, please make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our website at chicagoarthritis.com for more expert advice on staying pain-free and healthy. I'm Dr. Siddharth Tambar. Have a wonderful holiday and live well.